Here's another edition of $5 in the World, Sunday edition. And I'm going to read to you the chapter called Put It in Writing. This is about how my dad had this belief that anything that was mattered to you, anything that was important to you, whether it was goals, worries, concerns, commitments, plans, to-do lists, anything that business agreements, put it in writing. He believed that the clarity that came from it, the perspective you gain from it, went a long ways towards good mental health and best practices. So without further ado, here's the revised chapter called Put It in Writing. Our family did not abide by the adage that you shouldn't do business with family. Dad and his relatives loaned and borrowed money amongst themselves without issues for years. We still do so. The key to a successful business relationship is clarity about the terms, and putting the terms in writing remains the best way to achieve that clarity. Dad said that if something was important enough to talk about it, then it was important enough to put it in writing. There is so much assumed about motives and intentions in close relationships. It is the misjudged assumptions that lay the groundwork for conflict. One party thinks the money exchange was a gift. The other party assumes the money will be repaid at some point. It does not take much imagination to anticipate the result of this type of misunderstanding. Have the discussion about what is happening and what is expected, and then put it in writing. This is clarity. Dad held to the premise that meaningful things should be in writing in other aspects of his life. Dad read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill countless times. The book provides a roadmap for setting and achieving goals. A centerpiece of this effort is the writing out of the goal as well as the detailed steps necessary to achieve it. Thinking of a goal, believing it's possible, and writing it down combine to make the goal feel achievable. Looking at it and writing on a regular basis enhances the determination and creativity necessary to reach it. Dad would share his goals with us and eventually taught us to write out ours each year. It became an annual tradition for Dad, Chuck, and I to meet and write out our goals for the ensuing year and to review the results from the year before. Chuck and I still do this. He kept a notepad by his bed. If he woke up with a concern, then he would write it down on the notepad. He found this made it easier to go back to sleep. Once he acknowledged the issue, he could rest easy knowing that the issue was noted and that there was a way to deal with it. Taking the spiraling concern out of our mind and capturing it on paper releases a significant amount of stress. It is the first step towards a solution. It also worked for those middle-of-the-night ideas. He'd write them down as they came, just in case it would prove useful. The mind wants to be noticed. Once we write down the idea, the mind will relax and sleep is not far off after that. Making a quick edit here. As a business owner of a growing and dynamic company, his time and attention were in high demand. At first, he practiced an open door policy. If you needed to talk to Dad, you could just go into his office and share whatever was top of mind. These interactions would be random and sometimes frequent. You know how your mind will start to cascade thoughts and issues if you don't organize them. You share thoughts in a stream of consciousness. Dad figured out that his no rules accessibility was too disruptive to his work efforts. He responded to this challenge in two ways. First, he set office hours for when he would talk to the people about whatever random issues they might have that day. Second, they had to have the issues in writing. This focused the discussion and made the person be more concise. It cut down on frivolous interruptions and made the talks that did happen more effective. In a real sense, these boundaries made him more accessible and more helpful. It helped the employees discipline their own thoughts as well. Writing things down improves our perspective, makes things seem more manageable. We all know what it is like to have a troubling thought that will not let us go. It can interrupt our other thoughts, discourage us, or leave us in analysis paralysis. Dad's remedy was write it out in detail. Then he would put that note in an envelope, date the envelope, and put it in his desk drawer. He would open it about 6 months and see if it was still a challenging issue. Most of the time and effort had resolved it. sometimes to the point where it was difficult to even recall why it was so vital. He would leave written reminders about mindset around the house. Things like, you become what you think about, or be calm and cheerful. So you just, every time you went by a mirror, you'd see that and be reminded. He had his goals written out and posted in places he would see them daily. He even carried a copy in his coat pocket. He liked to leave little encouraging notes with people. He would write out his tasks for the day. He did not want to waste brain power remembering them. He wanted to think about the best ways to get them done. He let pen and paper be his memory for things like that. I think his high regard for reading made him so faithful to writing down things. He appreciated the power of the written word. He would keep ideas alive by writing them down, looking for an opportunity to implement them. I don't believe he kept a diary or a journal, but I know from personal experience a journal for writing out plans, concerns, ideas, tasks, goals, prayer concerns does have a calming effect on my mind. I am so grateful to Dad for showing us this way of managing a lot of thoughts and responsibilities in such an effective manner. He taught us that if you can reduce initial writing, perspective is gained. The fears and worries slow down or stop once the matter is pinned down on paper. Planning is easier when the challenge is clearly defined. Once something is in writing, it is simpler to collaborate with others about it. You're literally on the same page about a topic. It is the most effective way to communicate with the least amount of room for misunderstanding. The more important the relationship is, the more important clear understanding should be. If something matters to you, put it in writing. That's it. That's the new revised chapter. It's not a whole lot longer than the first one, but I think it is. I think it does read better. I'd love your feedback, your insights. Like I said, it's a relatively short chapter, but I think it's an important one. And I may revise it one more time or more once I get done talking to an editor. I should tell you, I found a couple of different people who are talking to me about being the editor for this project, and I'm looking forward to picking one of them sooner rather than later as we continue to move through this journey of writing this book. I hope this has been good for you or useful for you. Let me know if it could expand it somehow, if there's something more you'd like to know about what I said, and maybe I can add it in the final revision. But I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to these and watch these. Share them with some friends if you think they'll help them with something. That's the whole purpose of this book. Thank you again. Have a great night. I'll see you next weekend with another chapter from $5 in the World.